shipping changes.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Rockstarflipper YouTube channel. It is Sunday, and remember, guys, tomorrow there is no shipping. Everything is closed for Columbus Day. So with that said, every year during this time, October, November, into December, I get a lot of increased messages and emails about people that are finally ready to take the jump, take the leap, and get on Amazon as a seller. The problem is they go out to social media, YouTube, Facebook, a lot of different groups, and they get a lot of bad information or myths or just straight up lies, either from people that don't know anything about Amazon selling, have never sold on Amazon. In fact, some of the time they get information from people that are trying to deter new sellers from coming on because they want less competition. And so that happens as well, and they give people bad information on purpose. And then there's just the trolls that do it just for a laugh that I don't think is cool at all. With that being said, if you are ready to take the leap, if you're ready to jump onto Amazon, first we want to cover these 10 lies, these myths. These are the things that pretty much stop people from even attempting Amazon because they see all this and they're like, oh, never mind, forget it, I'll just stay on eBay. But in reality, if they knew the truth of this, which we're going to cover in a minute, they might actually give Amazon a chance, and it could change their lives, could change their business, and increase the money they're making. Also, a lot of people wait to the end of the year because they see all these people screenshotting increased sales and more stuff moving and all that sort of thing, and so that's when they think, oh wow, now's the time. Or they want to just start off 2020 right, and they know that they need a month or two to kind of get a feel for it and learn it, and so they want to be off and running in January, and so now is the time that they do it. So I think that's why it becomes a popular topic right now. So I definitely want to cover all of these myths. I want to give you guys the right information. I've been selling on Amazon since 2014, 2015. You know, we've had our best years in 16 and 17, kind of when everything took off. The last year or two, year and a half to 2 years, I've kind of let Amazon dip. But just to give you an idea, at our peak years, we were doing between 12 and 13 up to $15,000 at about 55% margin, all the way down to, you know, $7,000, $8,000 a month. It just depended on the month and what I was selling and different things. Now, the market has got hard here in Florida. I've done other videos about it. I won't get into that too much, but a lot of things changed here in Florida that made what I did, and particularly my products, a lot more difficult to source and a lot more difficult, obviously, to make money on. So it is something in 2020 that I have made a promise to myself that I'm going to build the Amazon back up to where it was. But it's very, very easy to get started on Amazon. So let's jump into the myths here, the lies, everything that I hear, the bad information, and make the decision and the choice for yourself after you hear all this if you're ready to get started on Amazon. If you are, of course, yes, I do have a program that's available. It's full training, it's full everything, and as a package with all of my other guides and sources and bolos, it's available. It's only 50 bucks, and you will make that money 10, 50, 100 times over. I'll link it below. Take the chance, jump into it, and let's get rolling on Amazon. I'll help you step by step as much as humanly possible. With that said, myth number one is that it's expensive to sell on Amazon, the fees and the cost of the store. And so that is absolutely false, especially when we compare it to eBay. So what is it to sell on Amazon? How much? Well, it's $40 a month for a pro account. We look over at eBay, they have a $22 store and a $60 store. So it falls right in between those two numbers, but it's unlimited. eBay has a restriction, either 250 free or 1,000 free. On Amazon, there's no limit to how much you can sell for free. There's no insertion fees. Now, you can also sell on Amazon for free as an individual. There are fees that are associated with that for being free. You don't pay the $40 a month, but you will pay an additional 99 cents per sale. It's like an extra final value fee. So if you sell over 40 items, of course, it would make more sense to go over here and upgrade to the $40 one than to keep paying 99 cents. A lot of people have a problem finding that free sign up for sellers. So I'm gonna go ahead and link it down below. That's where you'll sign up as an individual seller. Use that link below, you'll see it. Just scroll down the description box and click on it. You'll download the Amazon Seller app and you can get to town selling right away. You could do FBA and FBM. That means fulfilled by merchant, meaning you list your items, you store them and you ship them, or FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, where you list your items, you send them to Amazon and they take care of it. You can do either on an individual. Again, you will be charged an additional 99 cents that the pro account users do not get charged. Now the second side of this is still that number one, but the second side is that the fees are more. Most Amazon fees run between 8 and 15%. I know that's a big range, but it depends on the category. There is an Amazon chart for that. You can Google Amazon seller fee breakdown and it will come up with a chart by category, you know, electronics or video games or books or what have you. Most of mine, if I do an average across the whole board, average about 13-14% on the across the board type electronics and video games and whatnot. If we look at eBay, we know they charge 10% standard. If you do top rated, you can get it to 9, but 10% standard, and 2.9 for PayPal or 2.75 for managed payments if you're on that. So that puts you up to 12.9. Now also there's a 30-cent transaction on eBay or through PayPal. And if you're averaging $30 an item, that's 1%. So that puts you up to 13.9, almost 14%. And you're paying for that store, of course, which is, we just talked about, comparable with Amazon. So we're at about 13.5, 14.5%. You know, 14% is a really good average on eBay. And then if you're doing promoteds or promotions, there can be even more associated with that. But for the most part, 14% is fair. We just talked about Amazon being right there. Mine probably averages about 13.5. So they're really, really almost the same unless you're selling some odd item that might be up in that higher percentage. And even then it's not far off. Now the great thing about Amazon is typically you can sell things for a higher price, which will help to offset those fees. Even if you're just getting a couple extra dollars, an item on eBay is worth 25, you're getting 28, 29 on Amazon, that's gonna offset those fees. So it is not more expensive to sell on Amazon. That is a myth. We've debunked that one. It's pretty much similar. It's almost the same, if not less in some cases. Especially when you build that store up over 1,000 items, Amazon becomes cheaper to maintain that $40 store. So that's myth number one, that it's really, really expensive to sell on Amazon. It's not. So mark that down on your pros, that Amazon is not as expensive as you think it is. Number two is that it takes a lot of money to sell on Amazon. That's false. People think you have to order stuff in bulk, by thousands, you have to buy pallets. It's not true. You can go out to a thrift store right now, or a yard sale, or an estate sale. You could find 5 or 10 books. You can find 5 or 10 video games. You could find a couple small electronics, game systems, handhelds, maybe a webcam. You can find things that are $1, 50 cents, $2. You could go spend 10 bucks, 15 bucks, get yourself 5 or 6 items, bring them home, and sell them, FBA or FBM, but really FBM, list them on Amazon, get them up on the platform, and then when they sell, and you get paid once the transfer comes over, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But that's all it takes. You just have to take those items, put them up, sell them, and you're done. You don't have to invest hundreds or thousands of dollars in inventory. You can build an Amazon store through FBM or FBA if you want. 1 item, 2 items, 3, 4, 5 items at a time every day, going out about your normal thrifting. Continue doing what you do on eBay or Poshmark and slowly just build up that Amazon store. You do not have to have thousands and thousands of dollars to begin selling on Amazon. That's false. Another lie that people make you think about selling on Amazon. All right, so the third myth that I see a ton of is that you can only sell brand new items on Amazon. False, 100% false. In fact, 99% of everything I sell on Amazon is used. I don't sell any brand new stuff unless I just happen to get one out of luck or just happenstance or whatever. Very, very rarely do I sell new stuff. Why? Because my model is not the typical Amazon model. So most people that you see on Instagram, or they're flashing big numbers or whatever, they're doing retail arbitrage. Retail arbitrage, going into stores like Walmart, Target, and buying brand new stuff that's on clearance or discount, and they're putting it out. And that's fine. If that's your business model, that's great. It's not the business model I do. I've just never been a big fan of it. I think it's really small margins. I think it's a lot of work for the money. But there is money to be made that way. A lot of people make a lot of money through RA. Just not what I do. I do everything used. If you think, a lot of people start Amazon with books. They're not brand new books. They're all used books. So you can sell used books. I always see people are like, oh, I know you can sell books, but you can't sell used. And I'm like, they're used books. Used everything else. I don't know how often anybody goes shopping on Amazon, but if you do go shopping on Amazon, look through some of the items that you're shopping for and see a lot of those categories: books, video games, cameras, lenses, GoPros, routers, modems, anything electronic, tech, headphones, microphones, any sort of thing like that. You'll see a listing of all used and new. You'll see both, where you can switch between it. You can absolutely sell used items. Now there are some that you are not allowed. There are exceptions where you can only sell them brand new. There's some that you can't sell brand new. You can only sell used. So every item is different. And that's going to lead us into one of our other myths in just a minute. But the myth is that you can only sell brand new, and that is not true. You absolutely can sell used items on Amazon. I do it every day. Okay, so let's move on to number 4, and that's that it's really hard to understand what you can sell, what you can't sell. Everything's gated, everything's blocked, which we just kind of mentioned on. And that's not true at all either. So the fact is that a lot of items are ungated on Amazon to start with, and there's a lot of items that you can click on that will automatically ungate, and there are ways to get ungated for some items that you may not be ungated for. Now, a lot of you watching this, if you're new to Amazon, if you've never sold on Amazon, or you have no idea what I'm talking about, what is gating and ungating? Well, Amazon has a much stricter policy on what people can sell and who can sell what on their platform, as opposed to eBay or Poshmark or Etsy or other platforms. So there are certain products and categories, certain manufacturers, certain models and brands that have put restrictions on who they will allow to sell their products on Amazon. I don't know why they don't do this on other platforms. Thank God they don't, but they don't on eBay. I don't know why, but they're really strict on Amazon. So for example, Apple is one of those products recently, actually this year, where they made an agreement with Amazon where only Apple or their licensed third-party suppliers will be allowed to sell any Apple product, new or used, on the Amazon platform. So if you go to list your used Apple iPhone or used Apple iPad, you will not be able to list it. Companies like Best Buy, because they're authorized Apple, they sell Apple, they could sell on Amazon, or other companies similar to that. So without that permission, you will not be allowed to sell those items. There are certain items inside of brands. For example, you might be allowed to sell Nintendo game systems, but they might restrict you from selling one of that item or a certain color. Maybe the blue, red, green, black, and white are all allowed and the gold special edition is blocked. There's sometimes no rhyme or reason to that, and it can be confusing, but Amazon makes it really easy. Simply before you buy an item to resell it, when that item is sitting in front of you and you're like, wow, I can buy it for 10 bucks and sell it for 60, you scan the item using the seller app or you look it up, and it will tell you if it's blocked or not. And you can try to get unblocked for it. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And if you can't get unblocked, unrestricted, ungated, whatever you want to call it, and it's blocked, you just don't buy it. Or you buy it to sell it on eBay. You price it on eBay pricing as opposed to Amazon. So while yes, there are some items that are blocked, there are a ton of items that are unblocked. And that just takes a little bit of research and a little bit of experience. But you don't have to waste money to do it. People are like, oh, well, how do I know I'm going to buy up a bunch of stuff and then I'm not going to be able to sell it? No. You don't buy anything until you know you can sell it on Amazon, or you buy it with the intention to sell it on eBay. And then if you are ungated for Amazon, great, then you have that perk. So that's myth number 4, that everything is gated or it's hard to understand. It's not. It's very, very easy. You just scan and look it up, and a lot of items are ungated. Okay, myth number 5 about Amazon is that you have to have an expensive Bluetooth scanner and all this fancy equipment, and that's not true either. You can use the same thermal printer you're using for your eBay or Poshmark business to print out your Amazon FBM thermal labels, just like you would pack it up, ship it out to the customer. Now, if you're gonna do FBA and you're gonna send them in with little barcodes and whatnot, you may have to get a little bit different of paper. You may need a little different of a printer, your regular laser printer. It can be done on the thermals. It requires different settings, but for the most part, it's not a very difficult thing to solve. You can sit down and fix it in just a day's time. With that being said, the Bluetooth scanners, you don't have to have. They are helpful. There are some that will make your job a little bit easier and faster. And you can get them as cheap as 50 bucks, 60 bucks, on up to $200 and $300, depending on the quality and the level that you want. But you do not need them. Your app will scan products and look them up. That is all you need, is your phone and your app. If you want to add the scanner, that is something you can do at a later date, but you do not have to have it to begin with. So really, there's no extra investment needed. A lot of people think you need all this fancy equipment. As far as needing boxes and packing supplies, yes, if you're going to do FBA, you will need some additional supplies. You can get them for free, Home Depot boxes, Walmart boxes. There's ways to get it, or very, very cheap to send into FBA. If you're shipping FBM, you'll use the same packing material that you used for your eBay business, your previous, whatever you're buying and selling. Okay, so that is number 5, that you need a lot of equipment. Number 6 is that the website is hard to use or hard to understand. It couldn't be farther from the truth. If you're not a regular shopper on Amazon, it can seem a little bit overwhelming, a little bit confusing, but it only takes a day or two to get used to. And as far as navigating the Amazon website, in my personal opinion, it's actually cleaner than a lot of other platforms, and I like it better than pretty much every other platform that I use. The metrics, the reports, the sales, the shipping label screen, it's all the same. In fact, people, as a sub-myth to this, people think that printing a shipping label is a lot more difficult. It's actually exactly the same as you would think on eBay. If you're doing FBM, you simply click on the order, you click print shipping label, you fill in the weight and the dimensions or whatever it is, you know, the service first class priority that you're gonna do, and the label prints out exactly the same as you would on any other platform. So that is the next myth debunked, that the website is hard to use and hard to understand. It's absolutely not. In fact, it's pretty easy. All right, so myth number 7 is that it takes a long time to list items on Amazon, or it's difficult to list items on Amazon. And that, again, could not be further from the truth. In fact, Amazon is probably the easiest website to list on. If you're doing FBA, yes, there is some steps that you have to take to create an FBA shipment, where you'll tell Amazon all of the items you're sending them, the weight, the dimensions, all the information. You'll label them. That does take a little bit of work, but for what you're getting in trade, it's great. If you're listing to sell them FBM, fulfilled by merchant, yourself at home, you literally just list it like you would an eBay listing, and then you put it on your shelf, except it's a lot easier. When you open up to create a new listing on Amazon, you're just gonna upload your, you're gonna select the item, which is in a catalog. You don't even have to upload photos. Amazon provides photos, and it's allowed. I know on eBay, I say don't use stock photos, and that's correct. Do not use stock photos on eBay or Poshmark. If you don't know why, find my videos about it. Trust me, you'll thank me later. But on Amazon, it's a catalog photo. It's a photo provided by Amazon. Either they have permission or it's their catalog, and you just use that. Now, I still upload some of my own photos using like used electronics photos, like some of the remote controls that I just got in the bulk purchase will have some scratches across, whatever. So I want to show that description. So I would upload those just like I would on eBay, 3 or 4 photos, good to go. You're going to put in your title, which actually Amazon's title will default to the catalog title. So you really, truly don't even have to mess with that. Really, you just need to put a small little description and a price and a quantity, and you're done. You can finish that listing in seconds. The item specifics are already filled out because it's the catalog that Amazon uses with all that information. So listing is very, very easy. That's probably one of the biggest myths I hear about Amazon all the time. It's really hard to list on, and it's not. So that is number 7, which is Amazon is difficult to list on. Let's move on to number 8, and I'm gonna go with the one that you can't sell during Christmas. A lot of people think they're not ready to start right now because they can't sell during Christmas and Amazon blocks you, and that's not true either. So Amazon does have a Q4, 4th quarter restriction on certain catalog items and categories. It's toys and games. And toys and games are not blocked completely. They're simply blocked for FBM versus FBA, which means you can still sell toys and games, but you can only sell them FBA instead of FBM. The reason is Amazon wants their customers to have a good experience during Christmas. If you are a new seller, they don't want you to buy stuff, list it, hold it yourself, and then mess up the shipping during 4th quarter because you're a new seller and you don't understand. They want you to send it to them so they can make sure their customers get it during Christmas at a timely manner. They assume that because you're a new seller, there's a bigger chance that you might mess it up, and they want to reduce that risk during Christmas. So while you still can sell the items, you have to do it through FBA. Once 4th quarter is over, things will go back to normal. Now, if you want to sell FBM during 4th quarter, you would have had to sell during the rest of the year. I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, it was 25 or 30 items you had to sell by like September 15th. There was some cutoff date before 4th quarter, and it was a certain minimum amount of numbers of that category, 25 or 30 items. But you can absolutely sell anything else during Christmas as per usual that is not gated for you with no real restrictions. So selling during Christmas, absolutely allowed. Myth number 8 on our list of 10 Amazon lies and myths that we hear. Okay, so number 9 is that getting paid is difficult. This is false as well. Getting paid on Amazon is very, very easy. You simply link a bank account, which is the same as what eBay's managed payment is doing now. Your getting paid payout is 14 days. That is the downside and the truth. That is not a myth, that is true. Amazon only sends you money every 14 days, except for a bunch of old-time people that are grandfathered in and get daily payouts. That's different. Most of you that are going to start now will get 14-day payouts. Basically, you sell an item on October 1st. For 14 straight days, it's going to build up that account balance, and then on day 14, it's going to ship it out to your bank via ACH, and you'll have it in about 24 to 48 hours. So that is something that you will have to prepare for. But myth number 9 is getting paid is difficult. No, you simply put your tax information in your bank account in. If you're running as an individual, social security number will work, and your payouts will go right to that bank account. It's that easy. Okay, myth number 10, I kind of just touched on it, but it's that you have to have a wholesale contract, all this sales tax information, blah, blah, blah. Amazon works just like any other platform where you do have to give them your tax information so that when you sell, they can report that tax information. If you are a sole proprietor with a social security number, that is suitable. If you have an S Corp, C Corp, or an LLC like I have, you would provide them that tax ID number. It's the same as when you sign up for PayPal or when you sign up for eBay Managed Payments or Etsy or Poshmark or anything else, you will have to provide them a basic set of tax information or financial information. Your bank account, or your social security number or both, and they will approve you within 24 to 48 hours and you'll be on your way. It does not require you to have an entire set of corporations and wholesale contacts. You can buy and sell as an individual using an individual account or a pro account. You can buy 1 item or 10 items or 10,000 items. It's up to you. So that is how easy it is to sell on Amazon. That's myth number 10. So we covered 10 of the most common lies and myths that I hear or see about Amazon and selling on Amazon every single day. Now, with that being said, if you are ready to take the leap, if you're ready to take the jump, please feel free to ask questions in the comment section below. Ask anybody else around. Feel free to jump into my Facebook group, Thrifter Reseller World. It's completely free. There's 110,000 members. You can ask questions in there. Or if you're ready to go, let me help you. Grab the training program below, 50 bucks. It'll pay for itself a million times over. And you'll get all of the guides, all of the sourcing, all of the videos, accounting, social media, how to source stuff, how to buy stuff, how to list stuff, how to do everything, start to finish, top to bottom, everything I talked about in this video. And you'll also get the eBay and Poshmark videos to help you out with those, and membership to the private Facebook group where you'll get even more networking and information as well. A chance, grab the link down below. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any more future videos, especially ones about debunking myths and lies. I appreciate it, guys, so much. Remember, no shipping tomorrow, but I will be back up with another video tomorrow afternoon. Thank you again, and I will see you next time.